Hello and welcome to the Two Ace Podcast, the podcast designed to help you manifest your Two Ace mindset. My name is Josh Brooks and my one focus is success through the art of discipline and flow. I hope you enjoy the episode. Now let's get right into it. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is you are joining me. I hope you're having a good one, and today I'm going to be talking about motivation. Now, motivation is a hot topic and everyone talks about it, and you've probably heard other people try and explain how to be motivated and how to keep yourself motivated and lack of motivation and all this sort of stuff. And yeah, it is important, and I just thought I'd give my sort of thoughts on it, because everyone struggles with motivation. Everyone, every single day, maybe. It's so common, and it's important to address the motivation. It doesn't just come with every single step. You're gonna have days where you don't want to do it, and that is where discipline comes in. When you don't have motivation, when you have zero drive to be doing what you're doing, but you need to do it, you're gonna procrastinate, and that is where discipline comes in. You just got to do the thing that you got to do. And this morning, I woke up and I was like, really, I was sort of feeling like, a bit of lack of motivation. I was like, why? I don't really want to. It's looked at my clock and it was 4:30, and I was like, you know what? What is the motivation that I have right now to get out of bed? And it's because I needed to not only do the things I need to do in the day, but I need to make my past self proud. As in, do the things that I said I was going to do. Because otherwise I'm lying to myself, aren't I? If I say, I'm going to do this tomorrow, and then I don't do it, then I can't like tick it off my checklist, can I? That's quite fun to do. And also, if I didn't do it, I would regret it at the end of the day. If I went back to sleep for another 3 hours, I'd be like, oh, well, I could have done so much in them 3 hours. Anyway, so motivation, it causes a lack of motivation, rather. It causes laziness. Laziness results in unproductivity, and not being productive leads to goals not being achieved as well as they could be, or not at all. Like I said, if you wake up, you have no motivation, you snooze, you've lost that little bit of time, and then you do the things maybe, but then if you sleep in for another few hours, then you don't even do them. And if you let a lack of motivation stop you from doing the things you need to do over a long period of time, then that's going to drastically affect where you're about to go. You're going to be, if you're being lazy, if you're procrastinating, if you're being, I've got no motivation today, I can't speak today. If you've got no motivation today, and that's your excuse, then, like, if you want that to be your excuse, if you want to be able to say in future, like, oh, well, I didn't have any motivation that day, I can accept that. Well, fair play. But personally, if I have no motivation, I at least start. I at least do one press up. If I'm so achy and I do not want to go to the gym at all, but I said I was going to go to the gym, the minimum I will do is one press up. Just do it. Like I said, consistency, discipline. You shouldn't need motivation to do what you want. And if you feel like you do need motivation, if you feel like you always need to be motivated, you need to have that drive, then you need to create some motivation that you can think of in those times of laziness, in them times of unproductivity, that's going to make you be like, right, okay, I've got to go now, let's go, and then you're motivated. So think of your reasoning for starting this journey of self-development. Think of who you were or who you are, and if you're suffering right now, if you're struggling right now, accept it, breathe in it. That is who you are, and that is your motivation for this journey. And think of who you were before you started this journey, before you had these realizations and endure and remember the person you were in those times and do it for that person. Now, if you've been on a self-improvement journey for a period of time and you feel like you've changed a lot, that's great. And if you still do feel lack of motivation from time to time, just really concentrate on one of those pivotal moments in your life that caused you to be like, right, okay, well, I need to take action. And I guarantee you there's a lot of emotion in this instance. And emotion stands for energy in motion. Some people may have heard that. Energy in motion, emotion. I will go into more detail on that in another episode, I'm sure. But for now, if you have a lack of motivation, remember who you are. Remember who you were. And do it for that person. Do it for the person, past or present, that is struggling. And that emotion is all you'll need to keep going. If you're in bed, if you're lazy, if you know you need to do something, subconsciously, everyone knows they need to do something if they're being lazy, right? Unless you don't have any intuition at all. If you don't have that voice in the back of your head, which I'm sure everyone does, and if you ignore it, then that's on you, isn't it? But everyone has that little voice in the head when they're being lazy to tell them to do things. And you know that you just have to do it. If you really struggle, just think of the person who you were. The person, just really endure the struggle. Really, like, not get angry, but just like, because the reason why I say anger, because anger is a really powerful emotion and it can cause a lot of change, right? If you really embody a powerful emotion, if you really embody that emotion, you're going to be energized. You're going to feel that motivation surging through your veins, and you're going to want to get up and you're going to be like, right, okay, I'm going to prove that person who I was. I'm going to prove this person who I need to prove. I need to prove to myself, I need to prove to whoever that I can do it. And in this moment, I just have to get out of bed, and that is it. And then as soon as you're out of bed, you'll get in the shower, you'll do your morning routine, blah blah blah, and there you go. And if you've got no motivation during the day, again, just think of who you are, think of who you were, and think of where you want to be. And in this moment, decide if the right decision is to be lazy, unproductive. If your excuse is to have no motivation, then what does that say about you? If you're not going to act on what you need to do if you have no motivation, then are you disciplined? Ask yourself that. You have to have motivation from your past, your present, and your future. And what will be my future motivation is that if you have these goals that you want to achieve for the future, if you then in the future, right, if the deadline to your goal comes and you haven't done what you wanted to do, you're going to regret them days where you gave the excuse to not put the work in by saying that you have no motivation. You're going to regret that. And trust me, the pain of regret is much worse than the pain of discipline. Now, if that's not enough to motivate you, then I'm going to say this. Imagine on your deathbed and you're looking back at your life. The times of low motivation when you did things, through discipline, you're going to be proud of. The times where you didn't do things and you were lazy, which then resulted in you not getting what you wanted, you're going to regret. The possibilities in life are endless. And if by the end of it, you regret things that you didn't do because you were lazy, then that should be the biggest motivation for you to do what you need to do right now. And apologies for getting a bit deep there, but I feel like that point right there about future regret, future motivation, and regretting decisions you've made through your life, at the end of it, it's an important motivator, because, you know, I struggle with motivation, obviously, and that's one that helps me, right? It's quite a big, it does give you that, right, okay, well, I need to move right now, let's go, because in however long that's going to be, I don't really want to think of this moment and be like, right, well, why didn't I just do it? But, I think it's necessary, and I nearly didn't share it. But, like I said, I think it's necessary, and I want to be authentic as I can. So yeah, that's my thoughts on motivation. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this helps with any lack of motivation you will suffer from here on out. You just got to do it. Because there's dips in motivation and there's spikes in motivation. And when you endure the dips, you'll enjoy the spikes. Trust me, it's great. One day you can have absolutely no motivation and you struggle throughout the whole day and it's really hard, and then the next day or next week you might have a load of motivation and you're loving life and you are really proud that you endured through the lack of motivation. And with that, thank you for your time. Thank you for this opportunity. Remain consistent, achieve dreams. I've been your host, Josh. 2 Ace, 1 Focus. Before I leave you guys today, make sure to follow the podcast, give me a rating, and share the podcast about to whoever you see fit. Let's make this the best mindset podcast out there.